Joining us right now to weigh in on that, columnist and the co-host of The Five, Juan Williams, is here. Juan, good to see you.
Good morning,
Your
everybody.
reaction to this increased support of the tax plan?
It's been a steady line, and I think it's as President Trump predicted. When you look at it, you'd say, wait a second, you mean people got a tax cut and only half of them think it's a good idea? What's that about? And you have to then understand that if you dig into the numbers, as you were just hearing, one, there's a very sharp partisan split, and two, when the American people overall look at it, they don't think that the tax benefits should disproportionately go to the rich and the corporations.
But they don't. I mean, they don't, because you're talking about a corporate tax plan and a business plan with the intention of creating an environment so that those businesses hire more workers.
Right, but clearly what President Trump was elected on was draining the swamp, taking on Wall Street, not coddling the hedge fund guys at the expense of working people. He was supposed to be for the forgotten.
Well, we were all surprised that the carried interest loophole stayed in there. You're right about that.
But if you look at the polling from December on this, it wasn't that people were concerned that the benefits were going to top-end earners. Half of the people in these polls thought their taxes were going up. It was complete misinformation about who was getting a cut.
Sure.
And now they're like, oh, actually, I am getting a tax cut. Gee, I think I like this. But there was so much misinformation around who actually was going to get a cut that people said, I don't like the bill because I think my taxes are going to. No, they're not.
Well, why was that? Because you had the left out in force, calling it crumbs, calling it, not a good plan. Here's Nancy Pelosi a couple of weeks ago. Watch this.
In terms of the bonus that corporate America received versus the crumbs that they are giving to workers to kind of put the schmooze on is so pathetic. It's so pathetic.
It's not pathetic anymore, I don't think.
Was that smart of Nancy Pelosi to call a $1,000 bonus crumbs? I mean, she's a multi-millionaire congresswoman from San Francisco.
Right. No, a $1,000 bonus is not crumbs to most people, but I will say this. It's not most people who are getting $1,000. And the percentage, what she's talking about, to be fair to her, is the percentage of the cut that benefits that's going to show up in paychecks as opposed to in dividend statements. So she's right about that. It's just
no, what is she right about? Come on, she's not right about it. Come on, give me
I do think she's right about it, but I think.
Now?
I'm sorry?
Are you really defending Nancy Pelosi?
Yes, I think if you look at it just as a matter of pure analytics, it's crumbs that the working person gets versus what
about
the
the
big
standard deduction
investors
being
get.
doubled? Standard deduction being doubled.
Well, that's fine. Again,
it's not fine.
Okay.
It's part of the tax plan.
You
can't just say and be selective and say, well, that's fine, that doesn't matter, but this does matter. This is all the same law.
Yeah, but it's all the same law that disproportionately benefits one class. That's why you only see 50% of Americans supporting it, even though, as you keep arguing, well, this year, lots of workers are going to see the benefits of the standard deduction. You're going to see actually some pay raises. But it's a small percentage.
You're also seeing lower taxes.
Here's the percentage. 90% of workers are seeing higher paychecks this month.
There you go.
Right.
90% of all workers in this country.
Right.
So that's more money. But to say, Juan, it's like your tax cut's bigger than somebody who lives in my hometown because you make more money than they do. I mean, that's just basic math.
Right, but you also
that's what you're saying.
Look, I think the best argument on your side is, and I think Maria made this, is it's improving the economic environment. Companies want to invest. Companies are giving some bonuses. However proportionate I might counter-argue, they are giving some bonuses. So that, to me, is the benefit.
It's
the counter-argument is that it is also
everybody's taxes.
Let me just finish this point.
Most people's taxes went down.
Okay, let me just finish this point. That I think at this point, as you excite the economy, though, you can see that Wall Street is having some blips and flips, and because guess what? You're seeing some gains in terms of the prospects of inflation, and that's going to undo whatever little crumbs
but here's
are benefited in terms of those pay hikes.
But here's the question. As a political matter,
yes,
is it smart of Democrats to be the 100% party of resistance, calling bonuses crumbs, voting against these tax cuts when you see that the polling data, that the approval is going up, and even Priorities USA, big Democratic, left-leaning PAC, is saying Democrats have to be for something, not just against?
I love it. No, I think that's right. And I think that what you see in the immediate is that it's also party preference in Congress now going back towards the Republicans. And it's to the Republicans and even to the pollsters, I think it's perplexing. Like, gee, what's the big change here? But I think the taxes is part of it, and the public perception is hurt when you have Democrats seemingly against something that someone says, well, I could get a tax cut, or I did get a little bit of a tax cut.
President Trump is now calling out former President Obama for not doing enough to prevent Russian interference into the U.S. elections. So the commander-in-chief took to Twitter yesterday, wrote this: Obama was president up to and beyond the 2016 election. So why didn't he do something about Russian meddling? He then went on to quote former President Obama this morning in a series of tweets, and he says this: there's no serious person out there who would suggest somehow that you could even rig America's elections. There's no evidence that this is happening in the past or that it will happen this time. And so I'd invite Mr. Trump to stop whining and make his case to get votes. This is what President Obama said. The President Obama quote happened just before the election, and that's because he thought crooked Hillary, the president writes, was going to win, and he didn't want to rock the boat. When I easily won the Electoral College, the whole game changed, and the Russian excuse became the narrative for Democrats. Juan, your thoughts?
Wow, is this a schoolyard? Wow, these guys, it's unbelievable what goes on in American politics these days. You know, to me, the big issue here is you see President Trump just reacting so defensively. I just think he's on the defense every day.
But well, let's not forget the exchange between President Trump's predecessor and then Republican presidential candidate Mitt Romney during the final presidential debate of the 2012 election. Watch this.
Governor Romney, I'm glad that you recognize that al-Qaeda is a threat, because a few months ago, when you were asked what's the biggest geopolitical threat facing America, you said Russia. Not al-Qaeda, you said Russia. In the 1980s are now calling to ask for their foreign policy back, because the Cold War's been over for 20 years.
Nice toughness there, but really, Romney was right.
Romney was right.
Romney was right.
Oh,
look what Russia just did. They undermined our election.
Yeah,
they tried to.
I agree with you. I think they undermined our election. But I do think that what you saw in that context was America's concern at the time over terrorism, al-Qaeda, and what was to come. And the idea was, you know what, we have to figure out a way to deal with the instability that's being fomented in the Middle East. And at that point, Russia was like, well, a fading geopolitical force.
Russia wasn't. Russia was trying to undermine the West, Juan.
Well, they still are.
Right,
and I think
they still are. Romney was right.
To my way of thinking, both in the Trump exchange that we saw with Obama and in the Romney-Obama debate there, I think what you see is Russia coming on and doing things in new ways, the cyber attacks that have put us at war. But that's not to be confused with a battlefield foe that really was al-Qaeda and the threat of terrorism.
Thoughts?
No, I was just going to say, this is my last election. After my election, I have more flexibility. President Obama to President Medvedev.
Right.
Before the 2012.
Another famous quote.
Yeah.
I'll tell you guys one thing.
If you want to talk about getting tough on Russia.
Well, I mean, why doesn't President Trump impose the sanctions that Congress passed?
You know what? Actually, Treasury's working on them. We heard
I
from
hope
Steve
so.
Mnuchin last week.
It's puzzling to me. I mean, it's inexplicable. But I will say, I think that right now you have a sense where, among Democrats, of regret that President Obama, fearful that he would be seen as putting his hand on the scale or somehow helping Hillary Clinton, was not more effective in communicating to us, the American people, what was going on with Russia. Because as President Trump points out, this started in 2014, even before he was running.
And don't forget, John Podesta's brother, Tony Podesta, and his consulting firm, their big business was trying to get the U.S. to remove sanctions against Russia. They were defending the Russians. That is Tony Podesta. John Podesta and Tony Podesta have their Podesta group. Consulting.
Well, it's Tony, not John, but yes.
Well, they both own the firm.
And you can understand why Americans
they own the
are
firm together.
I think Tony Tony's the big owner, not John.
Point is, they were working for the Russians.
Yikes. Okay, I get your point, but I hope you hear what I'm saying, too.
Juan Williams.